The New York Jets have begun their preliminary search for a new GM, according to ESPN Insider. And since it's not going to be Ice Spice, the Jets have looked into some other options. And this could have a massive effect on who the New York Jets head coach is next season. And we're going to break it all down because that'll affect Aaron Rodgers' future with the Jets as well. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do. Also, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. 18.5% of viewers watching this are subscribed. Let's get those numbers up, but more importantly, let's talk about the Jets, because Jeremy Fowler, an ESPN NFL insider, has revealed the New York Jets have begun their search for a new GM. And taking a look at what Fowler said, he brought up the fact that the Jets have begun preliminary work on general manager candidates, including the evaluation of those not currently in the league. That makes sense, since clubs are free to talk to candidates not currently employed in the NFL, but must wait until after the regular season to submit interview requests for those employed by other teams. Former Tennessee Titans general manager Jon Robinson, for example, is someone that Fowler expects the Jets to research. The Titans were 66-43 during his tenure from 2016 to 2022, and Phil Savage, who joined the Jets in 2019, is serving as the interim general manager right now. It's also mentioned that the Jets will conduct wide-ranging searches for their new GM and head coaching positions, with former league executives Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman aiding the search as the 33rd team, as we know. And it's unclear whether New York will hire a new coach or general manager first, though some suspect around the league that it will be a GM. Well, I'd hope it would be a GM first. Matt, look, I'm interested in Jon Robinson. Makes sense. He was a good GM for the Tennessee Titans, and obviously there are some connections to this team, so it would make some sense to me. Hopefully they hire a GM before a coach.
Well, first of all, they better hire a GM before the coach, because we cannot trust Woody Johnson at all to pick a head coach by himself. And we know that if Woody Johnson hires a head coach before the GM, then Woody Johnson would... The problem is the GM has to be the guy who helps pick out the head coach. It can't be the other way around. So it would be really weird to have a head coach be picked before the GM. I'm kind of surprised that they would even put that in this article, because that part doesn't even make sense. But what does make sense is this potential GM, ex-GM of the Tennessee Titans from 2016 to 2022, where they ran one of the league's best rushing offenses. They made the playoffs a couple times. They didn't have a great quarterback, but we know they had that great running back, Hall of Fame level talent in Derrick Henry. And they also had a couple of really good wide receivers. They had Corey Davis, who was solid. He was okay. Maybe solid is too strong. He was okay. They drafted him 4th overall. Not the best pick in the world. So you got to remember that. Also, they had, of course, Derrick Henry, who I talked about, and A.J. Brown was the other name I was looking for, elite wide receiver. So we know what kind of team he would be looking to build around. He would want to find a run-heavy team for the New York Jets. I'm honestly not... I would be on board for a run-heavy team. That's the way I like to play. Run the ball, play complementary football on offense, meaning don't set your defense up in bad situations, and then have an elite defense that you can lean on when times get tough. That's how you win in the playoffs. It doesn't always lead to a ton of regular season success, like those 13, 14 win seasons. Those teams always have great offenses, but these defensive teams are the teams that shut down those offenses when the weather gets cold and guys don't want to tackle for all 4 quarters anymore when it's getting harder. You know, it's late in the game. The defense has gotten worn down because you've been running all game long. That's the type of team that he would create for the Jets. So now the obvious head coaching candidate connection to make with this potential GM hire would be, of course, ex-Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, defensive-minded guy, a culture builder, someone who I know a lot of Jets fans are excited about as the potential head coach of the New York Jets. Someone we're really excited about because we know he would bring the right culture to the New York Jets. Maybe the culture wouldn't be as much fun as Rex Ryan's culture, but Vrabel has had more success. He's had more coaching experience as well in the NFL, and he's of course a more recent head coach than the other candidates. Mike Vrabel, the one question that he has to answer that other head coaches would not have to answer, since he is a defensive-minded guy, he would have to answer the question is, who is the offensive coordinator going to be? I'm personally not worried about that. I'm not sure who it would be, but 2 of his other coordinators got head coaching positions, being Arthur Smith, and I'm blanking on the other name. I know you don't know the other name.
Me.
But he got another what?
Me.
Do you actually know it?
No,
okay.
I'm just saying
So
it's me.
another head coach, his other offensive coordinator before the Atlanta Falcons ex-head coach got a head coaching position as well. So he knows how to pick offensive coordinators. So I think that this would be an interesting move. A lot of rumors get spread out about Woody Johnson and his decisions, and before they even come out, we're thinking, oh no, that is obvious bad move written all over it. And this move does not have that distinction with it. So I think this could be a potentially moving the entire franchise in the right direction should Woody Johnson go ahead with this hire.
Yeah, I think it's a good hire for the Jets to go out there and make. I mean, 6 years with the team is a pretty good reign, and the Titans were good from that span. I mean, yeah, the Corey Davis pick, maybe not the greatest selection in the world, and obviously he's a New York Jets legend, and frankly, I would like the idea. I think bringing in Mike Vrabel would give the Jets the culture change. So having Jon Robinson come in there and Vrabel with a history, it does make some sense. And this was highlighted already by Rich Cimini that Vrabel has interest in the Jets' job. Now, Vrabel said many people assume that Vrabel wouldn't want to consider the New York Jets head coaching job because what's he going to do? He's going to call up one of his mentors, Bill Belichick, and ask him his opinion of the Jets. And we know what Belichick is going to say. He's going to talk trash about the Jets and say, don't take the job if it's offered. And on top of that, Rich Cimini said he's talked to people who know very well, and he's told friends that he would consider the job. This is Vrabel, obviously, as a possibility as long as he likes the GM they pick. So this all ties together. So he doesn't care what Bill Belichick would think. He'd judge the situation based on its own merit. So it all does lead back to, okay, well, this does actually make some sense. It does all add up in the end.
Yeah. So Bill Belichick, we know he hates the Jets, but even before Mike Vrabel asks Bill Belichick his opinion on the Jets, Vrabel already knows what Belichick's going to say. So I wouldn't care too much about Belichick sinking Vrabel as a potential head coaching candidate. He's going to make his own decision. Just like all of us, Mike Vrabel has seen what's going on with the New York Jets over the last couple of years. He understands that the job probably doesn't have a super long leash. He sees that the owner makes bad decisions. So, and you said that he would need to like the GM that they bring in, and I'm sure, would like working with his old buddy again, who led them to successful seasons. So Mike Vrabel could potentially be the head coach for the Jets. He, of course, would be all over that run-heavy offense, complementary offense, plays strong defense because that he coached a team that Jon Robinson put together. So that would really make a ton of sense for this pairing to come back in the NFL. And as long as Woody Johnson is smart enough to do it, Woody Johnson likes to look in the past and see what people have done and what's been successful for other franchises, and then he tries to copy it. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he went for an old pairing of a coach and GM pairing that worked in the past. I want to be careful about using the word worked and saying it was super successful, because it wasn't super successful. They didn't really win a ton of playoff games. They went to an AFC championship game, but they really should have beaten the Bengals that one year. I think it was 2021, so it would have been one of his last years there. Really should have beaten the Bengals there with Joe Burrow. That year, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Rams. The Tennessee Titans home should have won that football game. We'll see if he comes in, maybe he can have more success with the New York Jets and put a dent in this 14 and counting year drought on the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you're hiring guys who know what they're doing. These two have been through it all. They've been on. I mean, Vrabel's coached some Titans teams that were not that good. He's coached some Titans teams that were playoff teams. And Robinson was there for all that. I think it has a good energy of, all right, well, they took over, the team wasn't great, and then they've moved forwards and they helped. I mean, they were there during the Ryan Tannehill revival when prior Marcus Mariota was their quarterback. So they've seen a lot over their tenure, and I do think it would be a good hire for the New York Jets. I also don't think either of these would be a surprising hire. At this point, my money is on Mike Vrabel getting this Jets head coaching job. So we're going to see what happens. I'm very interested. Any last words, Matt?
My money's on Aaron Glenn, Lions defensive coordinator, for the head coaching job.
Well, he's a former Jet, so we'll see what happens. But guys, make sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.